Good enough about those. Thanks again for tuning into yet another video. Infamous coming at you live from the West Coast yet again, San Jose, California. So we are looking at the Lowrider ST 2025. Everything that we predicted in the videos last week or 2 weeks ago have been true for the most part. You know, it's just people in the comments were saying, Infamous, you're saying all of this stuff that's going to cause the price to go up. I get that. I understand that the price is going to go up, and the reason why I just said, you know what, it'd be nice to see all of these things, 117 high output, the riding modes, you know, yada yada yada. Of course, people were saying, well, that's just going to increase the price. My thought mentality, of course, was Harley's going to raise the price anyways. All right, you guys saw what they did with the Road King. They increased the price and they didn't give you anything. So as far as this 2025 Lowrider ST, the price did go up. You know, everybody expected the price to go up. You know, the way I see it is, at least they're giving you something for that price increase, which is a 117 high output, even bags, riding modes, and I believe that's pretty much it. 117, you know, proper saddlebags, and the riding modes, and a few rider safety enhancements. So that's what has changed for the 2025 Lowrider ST. I guess I'll name this video stuff that you should know, or stuff that Harley changed in 2025. They also added a couple other things, which I was actually pretty surprised. Now they're giving you the option to select your trim, which is pretty neat. Unfortunately, if you want the blacked out trim, that's going to cost you an extra $1,100. So that this bike will set you at the way you see it here, of course, not including, of course, the metallic. Let's go with the Biltwell gray and the black trim. So this right here, this Lowrider ST will set you back $25,200, $300, $25,500, or sorry, $25,300. Wow, that's a big increase. You know, that's a significant increase compared to last year. If you were to get the chrome trim, which is also looks nice, you know, a lot of people they were asking for a chrome trim for this bike. It's got more of a classic look. You guys can check it out, of course. Looks quite neat. The tank badging isn't the same. You guys can let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about this tank badging? It's a little bit more retro chrome, but you're saving yourself $1,100, and the bike still looks great. It still looks fantastic. You know, I think I would have preferred to have seen the forks also chrome, but sorry guys, I'm getting out of a cold or a flu or some type of deal. I've been sick for the last 2 weeks. I've been coughing quite a bit. So let's get into you know, the other changes for 2025. They added more colors. You guys can see you have a blue burst, looks pretty good. Of course, you have the vivid black, which is your standard, and then if you go to the black trim, then you have more additional colors. Vivid black, as always. The brilliant red, that's a color that we already saw. The iron horse metallic, and then you have this midnight, you know, firestorm, which is also neat. It's ghost flames. This is, I think, the first we've seen a soft tail in recent history that they have kind of one of the touring colors, because this is a street glide, road glide color with the ghost flames, which is pretty neat. All right, of course, that will set you back $1,900 plus the black trim, because you have to have the black trim to get this color. That will set you back $2,000. So this will now be $26,200. But it's pretty cool. You know, like I said, it's neat. I like it. Like I've mentioned before many times in the videos, for a custom paint like that, of course, with the ghost flames and all this other stuff, you're looking at about $10,000. All right, $10,000 for a custom flame job like this. Depending, of course, where you go to, some places are cheaper. Here in California, this could easily be an $8,000 to $10,000 paint job. So that's that, because you also have the saddlebags. You have the rear fender. It doesn't look like that front fender. Maybe it is. Maybe it is painted. It looks like it might be painted, but ghost flames on a soft tail. That's not a CVO. It's you know, it's pretty good. All right, just saying, you know, if you like flames and you like it from factory with the warranties and all that other stuff, then, you know, $2,000 ain't that bad. All right. It ain't bad at all. So let's go ahead and look at some other differences. Of course, like I mentioned, the 117. I'm not sure about the LEDs, because it does say that you guys can see here in the images they will have turn signal LEDs, but for some reason in the description or in the other, I'll show you guys in a minute, they're saying that depending on the country, I'm not entirely sure what it means, but as of right now, LEDs are included on turn signals, and that's the first time Harley has done it for the Softails. In the history of Harley making motorcycles, the long history of Harley, they have now finally adapted to LED turn signals, which is, it's funny, all right? It it is hilarious. So getting over this cold, of course, you can see the tank badging. I like the other one, all right? I like the other styling. I'm not a huge fan of this one. It looks nice. I'm saying I prefer the other tank badging on the black trim one. So you have the solo seat. We could also see, I'm not sure why they're mentioning the rear suspension. I believe it's still the same shock from 2022, which is basically the Heritage shock. I don't know if they've increased it. I haven't really seen the videos. I don't think I've seen any promotional videos on this. You can also see the high output 117. Of course, you now have the rev limiter or the governor at 5,900 RPM. So that's slightly above. And I've noticed this on other on the STs. I've noticed on some of the other bikes. Of course, they don't have the limiter down low, because I've noticed it when I was riding the limiteds versus the CVO ST. I noticed that you rev it up to a much higher RPM. So 117 high output engine, like I said, same displacement, but of course you have a different tune and a different cam. So another little thing that's not on here is the riding modes, and we'll get that to a little bit. You also have a 2-into-1, which doesn't really matter because most people will swap out the exhaust anyways, but it's nice that it is a 2-into-1 because now they don't have to compromise on the size of the right saddlebag, which is neat. Like I said, and of course you have the heavier air breather. Harley has tweaked this since 2022. 2022, I did notice that this was always rubbing up against my shin. I'm 5'7". With mid controls, I guess you're okay, but somehow Harley was able to shift it up a little bit. I believe the intake is now also different for these high outputs, because you can see the intake is different. The sensor, it's at an angle, so it's no longer upright. It's at an angle, so it sits different. So I'm hoping once I get to demo this bike, I'm hoping the air breather does not rub against my shin or does not bank up against my shin, because like I said, that's something that they changed in 2023 and of course 2024. A lot of people in the Facebook group did sell this air breather because of that reason, because it was always banging up against people's shins. So 2023, I believe they shifted it over just slightly over enough so that wasn't an issue. So everything else, like I said, everything that was leaked was expected. I'm not a huge fan of these new hand controls. I'm not really digging it. You guys can let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of the hand controls? I really like the classic. I was hoping that we're going to keep the classic hand controls and then add something to it, but looking at the leaks, I thought they would look a little bit closer to the touring models, but this is more like an Indian style of hand controls. Hopefully they're not plastic like the Indians, and maybe they're still metallic, because it does have a really good feel to it, even though they're metallic. They just had like a really good feedback, of course, the switches and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of the Indian controls. I much prefer the Harley-Davidson. So we'll see how this kind of feels once I get my hand on it. I wasn't saying much about it. I wanted to see TFT displays, but we're not getting it. Okay. And as far as the indicator, you guys can see right here in the gauge, you have the S for sport mode. So I did mention that in that video, that hopefully they have like an analog or something. If it wasn't going to be TFT, I was hoping they would have like an indicator, and that works just fine. Just have the little S right there for sport. You have, of course, R for road standard. or is it rain or wet? I'm not sure what they're gonna label them as. But of course, sport. Okay, man, what is it? And for neutral, can't remember. But you know, depending on the letter indicator, that will give you the the know-hows or the knows of it being in what ride mode. So you can also see right here, ride modes, fine print. USB charger, they've always had it there. It doesn't, I mean, that's not something new. Unless a USB-C. Oh yeah, it is a USB-C. So that's different, right? They've always had a USB-A, or is it USB-B? They've always had the classic USB. Now they have a USB-C. So it should be like a fast charger. So that's pretty neat. Of course, some images, some photo. You guys can take a look at it. I really like the Iron Horse metallic. It looks really neat. Of course, they've also, you know, power corded the wheels now, so it's no longer that bronze. I really like the bronze. I really like the bronze. I've always liked the color scheme, the black on gold or the gold on black. I've always been a huge fan of that color scheme. So, you know, to see them changing it up, of course, now you have a red with that black trim. You guys can let me know in the comments. A lot of people were looking forward to it. Some people just did not like the bronze. I'm a huge fan of the bronze, or the gold, or whatever you want to call it. I've always digged it. So let's go ahead and look at, of course, the rider safety enhancements. This is also what I noticed. They included everything. So this pretty much has RDRS. So, you know, they've increased the price, but they've also included more rider safety enhancements. They gave you the 117 high output. They also gave you the riding modes. Well, more. Sorry, guys. I'm still getting over this thing that I have. I don't understand. But of course, you have the tire pressure monitoring system. This is something that none of the Softails have ever had. None. So this is the first time a Softail is having tire pressure monitoring. So, you know, cornering. Like I said, this is all new stuff as well. This is all RDRS. Everything you see here, except for the tire pressure. All of this is RDRS, cornering, traction control, everything is included with this. So, you know, yes, it is $25,000. When the Lowrider S when the Lowrider ST was released in 2022, I believe it was $22,200. And I've always said, you know, the Lowrider ST seems to be by far the best deal out there for someone who wants a light cruising, you know, all the way around, a good overall bike. All right. Yes, it doesn't have the 2-up capabilities. You don't have the passenger foot pegs. You have a solo seat, but you have good wind protection. You have all the rider safety enhancements. You also have decent storage capacity and great wind protection with this re-engineered you know, the frame mounted fairing. You guys can see the back of it, of course. Both of the saddlebags are now they're now even. All right, so that looks great. So when you get around to changing the exhaust, it's not going to look funny, of course. So it's pretty neat. I like what they did. I like that they're giving people more options as far as the trim. It's always just been black. Now you have, of course, the chrome. Yes, it will cost you a lot more, which sucks, because this used to be a $23,000 bike. The way you see it here. This used to be $23,000. All right, so now if you want the same bike with the black trim, you're now paying over, you know, $25,300. So that's an increase of, what is that? An extra $3,000. I don't know. You guys can let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? Maybe it is worth trading in if you do have a Lowrider S. Maybe, or like I'm saying, if it's new enough. Anyways, guys, I'm rambling. I'll probably make a whole different video on this, but thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Life's a risk. Get out there and ride. Later.